Hi there, today I'm talking about this microphone. This is the Fifine K658. It's a pretty new mic, certainly at time of recording, and this is a microphone that is designed specifically for podcasting, streaming, gaming, that sort of thing. It's an end address mic, which means that you use it talking into it from this angle, not from the side like that. And it's a dynamic microphone, has a cardioid polar pattern. So it's unidirectional. Again, what that means is that it's designed to reject audio from the left and right of the microphone and the back of the microphone, and is very specifically designed to have someone talking into it like this from about this sort of distance. So you would use this mic from about 4 inches, 10 centimeters, something like that. It's not designed to be a mic that you're using back here like that. Of course, that you'll be able to hear it, but it's not designed for that. It's designed to sound its best at this sort of distance from the mic. Maybe if you wanted to, you could also get a bit closer up like this and see how the mic sounds with the proximity effect of getting close into a microphone. I'm just trying not to clip the mic here. So yeah, I thought today that I would do the whole of the video on this mic, because I would normally do an audio test at some point during the video, but this is exactly what it's designed to be used for, having someone sat here talking away into the mic, recording it on a podcast, something like that. So if this sounds good to you, then go for it. This is a good mic for you, but I'll tell you a bit more about the microphone anyway. It's got a frequency range of 70 hertz up to 15 kilohertz. Now, 15 kilohertz isn't that high, actually. Most condenser mics will go much higher than that. In fact, quite a few dynamic mics will go a bit higher than 15K as well. But 15K is perfectly respectable, perfectly good enough for vocal use. And in case you don't know, a lot of radio broadcasts, for example, actually have filters in place that means you don't hear anything above 15K anyway. So if you're hearing people on air and you think their mic sounds good, you're probably not actually hearing any audio above 15K anyway. The current it uses, not terribly relevant, I suppose, but I thought I'd mention it. It says 150 to 200 milliamps. What that means is that any USB port will be able to provide enough power for this microphone, even with these little kind of RGB lights at the end. Do I like these? I don't want to say yes, but I think I kind of do, actually. It's got a sensitivity of minus 50 dB and a max SPL of 110 dB. Not particularly high, particularly for a dynamic microphone, but I'll talk a bit more about that in a second. In the box, you get the microphone, you get a shock mount, this thing here. You get the little thing to attach the mic to the shock mount, and you get an immensely, really impressive USB-A to USB-C cable. It's 8 foot 2 inches long, so about 2 meters 30, I think, or 2 meters 20. A decent length cable. And it also comes with a little desktop tripod stand. Just chuck it on the desktop stand, and with the shock mount, it should work okay. What can I tell you about the microphone other than that? Well, it's got a mute button on the top. So it's got this really kind of touch-sensitive mute button. And it really is touch-sensitive. In fact, you don't even have to touch it, I have discovered. If I just hover my finger just like about a millimeter or two off the top, it'll enable the mute. And when I'll enable the mute now so you can see the sound level. It's usually about minus 75 dB when muted. And I can just tap it like that to bring the mic back on. And this huge thing here, this massive thing, is a gain control. And again, when I first looked at it, I was like, God, this whole thing is huge. This whole thing is just like, it's being pumped up or something like that. But I actually find it really good, because instead of it being this tiny little gain control that you're sort of trying to tweak, you've got a nice a sturdy volume knob to hold on to and adjust your gain. So at the moment I've got this set to about the 9-10 o'clock position. It gives a good range, the gain control. I like it. The minimum is not off, because why would you want the microphone to be off at minimum gain? The minimum is just lower than the maximum, and it gives a really good range, and it means you can cater for most situations, most people's voices. It gives you, well, that's it really. It's a good range. And on the bottom, we got another little touch button, which turns off these RGB lights. So if I just touch that now, you can see that they've turned off. And as I mentioned a second ago, when I was looking at the pictures of this, I thought, have we really reached a point where RGB lights are needed on a microphone? I mean, come on. Is that really necessary? But they're pretty subtle, and I actually quite like them. I've got to admit that if I was recording with this microphone, I think I would probably leave them on. What I would like, Fifine, if you are watching this, it would be nice to be able to make these a specific color. So maybe to match kind of a brand or something like that. Or like in the background here, I've got specific lighting of 2 different colors. It'd be nice to be able to match that with just one single fixed color rather than having it running through this rainbow effect continuously. But you know what? I don't mind it. I think it's okay. So what do you think of the audio quality? Well, I've taken a listen to this already, and I'm pretty impressed. I like it. I find it quite full-bodied. I find it pretty rich to listen to. Nice. I find it, first, quite listenable, and that's super important with this sort of microphone. You can have microphones that suffer from listener fatigue. They're harsh, and people aren't really quite sure why they're getting annoyed listening to it, apart from obviously if you just find my voice annoying or something, that's a completely different thing. But there can be other reasons just around the quality of microphone processing or just the microphone itself that means that people get listener fatigue. And I find that this is quite listenable. The design of the mic is clearly going for the Shure SM7B sort of crowd. And although the Shure SM7B is vastly more expensive than this mic, it's clearly copying it, right? I mean, it's going for that look. And yeah, I think it's a nice looking mic, isn't it? It's good. But the Shure has a good sound quality with minimal listener fatigue as well. And I think this does a really good job. Value for money wise, the $110 asking price that Fifine have on their website puts this well above the K669 $30 mic that I reviewed back in 2018, the end of 2018. And I think I want to say that it's good value, but I think actually that's a little on the steep side. And the reason I say that is because you can get something like the Rode NT USB for just a touch more than that. And with all due respect to Fifine, I think Rode are more respected in the industry for building quality mics and offering probably quality support than Fifine. I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job of pushing themselves into the market and pushing out decent products. But if you were to ask a load of people who work in audio, do you know Fifine or do you know Rode? I know which one they're going to choose, and that brand reputation counts for a lot. And yet you can get a mic that is a good quality USB mic for just a touch more than this. So I think the retail price of $110.99 is a bit much. But when this gets launched internationally, hopefully it will, you'll get deals and the price will come down. And I think if this was set at about a $75 price, it'd be perfect for something like this. The shock mount, that's where things fall apart a little bit, I'm afraid. And I always, in my reviews of budget mics, come back to this. And it winds me up. It winds me up that companies can make a microphone with such lovely build quality and nice, this whole casing is metal here. And then they put it with a plastic shock mount that effectively does nothing. It's really not great at all. And not only that, it's got this same threaded little thing here as the Fifine K669. And my K669, this threaded after about a month or two and is now completely useless. They're just cheap accessories. Why do they provide these things with cheap accessories? Please charge a bit more and provide decent accessories, or I don't know what the best solution is, but I'm not a fan of cheap accessories with microphones. If you're going to get a microphone, you want it with something that is sturdy like this, not plastic stuff. And look, I'll tap my microphone and you can listen to the amount of rejection, right? So I'm currently peaking, my voice is peaking at -9. Oh, there we go. I'm tapping tapping the microphone stand, which is on the shock mount, and it's coming in at -9 to -6. So if I were to use it with a proper shock mount, that would cancel a lot of that noise out. But let me just move the microphone around and see whether Because it probably isn't too bad, actually, if you just kind of fiddle around with stuff and move it, because you might pass it to a guest or something. Yeah, it's okay, but really these shock mounts, they don't do too much at all. That's a shame. So yeah, the specs of the mic, the 110 dB that I mentioned before, isn't absolutely superb. It's just kind of okay. I would have thought that a dynamic microphone, if it truly is a dynamic microphone, would achieve a better max SPL than 110 dB. And finally, oh no, two more things that I put as kind of cons on here. The design. Well, I love the design of the mic. I'm grown to like it, actually, much more than I thought it would, as I mentioned. But this whole kind of, shock mount starts here and the mic just pokes out. That to me looks clumsy. It looks very badly weighted, badly balanced. But maybe it's useful because it means that if you're streaming or something, you can have the mic tucked right back here and you've got as much of the mic reaching forward as possible without showing any of the stand. So there may be reasons why that's a good thing for people. And the final thing, well, it uses USB-C, and that's good, but the ports are so weak. This port at the back, can you see it wobbling? Can you see the cable wobbling there at the back? I hope it doesn't disconnect it, otherwise my recording's ruined. That is, yeah, it's flimsy. Ports are flimsy. There's no clear point to retain the cable. Yeah, I mean, you can fashion something, but then you've got to worry about sort of noise getting up through the cable into the microphone itself. There's just the XLR. I know everyone talks about XLRs like, oh my god, it's like pro, you got to have XLR, and USB mics are amazing. But the fact that this doesn't have any kind of decent cable retention and has a flimsy port on the end is not really great. But overall, would I recommend this mic? At $110, maybe not. At about $80, absolutely. It's a really nice sounding mic and it looks the part and sounds the part. Maybe you could fit it to a better shock mount if you could find one that had this thread. But maybe you might love the design. It's a lovely clean design. And if you love these RGB lights on it, then you're probably sold already. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like the audio of the mic? Have you bought it and you are happy with it? If so, put a comment down below. I know a lot of people come to reviews after they bought something as well. But I'll put links in the description. Apologies for my voice today. It really isn't up to much. But thanks for watching and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.